Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Waste Talk series. And in this series, we talk about reducing waste. And today, with me, I have Sarah. I will let Sarah introduce herself. Hi, Sarah. How are you doing?
Hi, just fine, Vartika. How are you? Excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. What all do you do? And tell the audience what they will take away from this talk after 30 minutes of hearing us.
Sounds good. So, yeah, my name is Sarah, and I currently work with Waste Services and the home composting team. I've actually been with Waste Services in the city of Edmonton for just about 9 years. In April, it'll be 9 years. Very proud, of course, of all the work that I've done there. Started out as a receptionist, and then I worked up to working on the education team, so doing tours of the Edmonton Waste Management Center, both virtual, in-person presentations and workshops all about waste and waste reduction. And now, of course, on the home composting team, I encourage and help folks to reduce their waste by putting in actions around their homes, like home composting and the best way to deal with our grass, leaves, and branches. And of course, if they have any trouble with home composting, we're there to give them assistance and answer any questions that they may have to keep Edmontonians composting and to use Edmonton's waste system effectively. So I'm hoping that people can take away from this chat some tips about how to reduce their waste and maybe a little bit about why that's important. I know I always appreciate when I get to learn why someone wants me to do something. So I get to share with everyone the reasons why I reduce waste to maybe encourage folks to do the same.
Yeah, well, sure, we will get into that. And you are also a MCR, right?
I sure am. Yes, I took the MCR program back in 2019. So I'm sure your guests are familiar, right? Your audience is familiar with the MCR program, or should I describe it?
Yeah, I am MCR, but I never described it to them. So it would be good
Oh,
if you described it a bit in detail.
would love to. Yes. So the MCR program that stands for Master Composter Recycler, and it is a volunteer training program that the city of Edmonton and our team, the Waste Services team, the home composting team, and the MCR program team put on to train a group of Edmontonians every year with all of the waste knowledge that we could possibly put into 9 classes through instruction and hands-on learning, special guest speakers, behind the scene tours of the Edmonton Waste Management Center, and as much information as we can to get those folks engaged with all of that information so that they can then spread the word
Yeah,
about waste reduction, how to use Edmonton's waste system right there in their communities, in their homes, in their workplaces, at their schools. We just give them as much information as we possibly can, send them out into the world and get them volunteering and helping us spread the word.
yeah.
It's
So
really fun.
MCRs do a lot of work. Yeah, and if there is no one,
Yeah.
there is no one talking about it. So it's good that Waste Services is recruiting these people and they're spreading the word out there.
When did you take the program, Vartika?
So I did it in 21,
Yeah,
right
2021.
after
I was going
COVID.
to say a few
Yeah,
years now.
right
Good
after
for
COVID.
you. And look at you now. Now you're hosting a YouTube show. So way to
Yeah,
go.
thank
Some
you. Yeah, I love doing that. I love
influencers.
talking about waste. And thing with me is I never knew anything about waste. I never knew that waste reduction is important. So it all happened in within last 5 years for me.
Good for you. Congratulations right back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so you said that we will learn why we should reduce waste. And waste is like out of sight is out of mind because uh, city does such good work and they just take away all our trash. We don't see it. We don't think immediate need of reducing waste. Why do you think waste reduction is important? Why do you want to do it?
Yeah, and I agree with you there, right? We're so used to just putting it into our carts, putting it on the curb, and then see you later, right? When the garbage truck comes by or the food scraps collection truck comes by and it takes it all away, right? And we're like, woohoo, done and done. There is so much work that goes into processing Edmonton's garbage. The garbage, the food scraps, our recycling, even, right? All of our yard waste that we put out. It doesn't just leave and disappear. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And unfortunately, the items that we put into our black garbage carts, that's all destined to end up in a landfill, right? So that is a lot of garbage. And when I think about landfills, I think about them taking up the beautiful spaces that we have here in Alberta and across Canada, across the world, right? Landfills, they're big piles of garbage where just garbage just goes and goes and goes, piles and piles and piles. And I do not want to live in a world surrounded by garbage, right? We're in such a consumer climate, right? Where it's just so easy for us to go out and buy things. So that, of course, accumulates a lot of waste. So one of the reasons why I want to reduce waste is to protect our planet, to make sure we don't have to keep finding ways in landfills space, right? That's taking up our beautiful parks. And I love spending time outdoors, right? So I'd hate to see all my beautiful mountains that I love to visit and ski on being, taken over by landfills, or garbage ending up in our oceans, right? Because we're just so full on land. So now things are going out to sea, or, even burning garbage. There's some problems that happen there, right? With pollution into the atmosphere. And landfills also contribute, of course, a lot to the greenhouse gases, right? And the climate change that we're experiencing in our world. So I just would love to reduce that as much as I can. So not only for me, so that I can have a healthy life while I'm here on earth, but also for our future generations, right? I have nieces and nephews, and I see them and all the things and activities that they love to do. And I just want to make sure that this world is protected for them, right? And healthy for them to live in and to grow up in. And I also, of course, love animals. Right now, I'm living on an acreage, so I have some space with horses, and it's just a dream come true. And I can only imagine what it would feel like to have a landfill in my backyard, or right in somewhere where it's just beautiful, farmland, right? Or even parkland along the river valley, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to protect this planet.
Yeah.
And I get to talk to a lot of grade fours in my job. And when I do, I love to talk to them about, this is the only planet that we have to live on, right? And then, of course, they always argue, oh, there might be life on Mars and this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, okay, kids are so cute. Yes, of course you can take it. But as far as we know now, there's only one planet that can sustain life, right? And that's Earth. That's where we are now. And it's up to us to protect this planet and to take care of it for us and future generations, right, as best we can. So waste reduction is a big part of that, and of course, why we're here today. So I'm hoping to instill some knowledge, hopefully.
That's right. So pollution from landfill is everywhere. It's just not visible. It's not that tangible. It's in our air, it's in our water, just because of that waste that we send to landfill, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad. So if we reduce our waste, we don't have as much to send to landfills. So that's the goal,
And we cannot buy another planet for our kids. We have to protect this planet.
right? I know. Yeah, it's not true. Yeah, not yet, anyways.
So let's get into the action. How do you do it? Like, where all do you practice this reducing waste thing in your kitchen, wherever? Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually have a couple little helpers that help me reduce my waste. I have pet bunnies. And it's so funny, but ever since I brought these bunnies home, I've noticed that we have so much less food scrap waste in our household, right? Because the bunnies can eat the carrot tops, the banana peels, even the vegetable peels, almost everything that I put into my food scraps cart, right, would be given to them. It's not everything, but it's quite a bit. So that's been really fun. So my bunnies actually, right, help me reduce my waste, which is kind of cool. I also compost at home. So I have a couple bins outside that, of course, I compost with. So I put all my food scraps in there, the ones that the bunnies don't eat, that is. And then, of course, some of my garden waste goes in there as well. Like if I'm doing gardening, right, and I got some weeds that I'm pulling, or some edgings and things like that, right? That kind of stuff, of course, can go in there as well. I also do worm composting. So I have a worm bin that has a whole bunch of red wiggler worms in it, and we can give them some food scraps. So as you can see, I'm kind of sharing the food scraps around the house. So bunnies, outdoor composting, and of course my indoor composting setup, which is really fun. Yeah, again, I mentioned the horses, right? The horses like to take care of some of our yard waste, especially those grass clippings, because we leave all of our grass clippings on the lawn. And if I don't let my horses, actually into the yard and actually eat some of that grass, which I love to do because they love it too. Yeah, we do leave our grass clippings on the lawn, which is great. I do my very best to say no thank you to the straws and napkins and the plastic cutlery that come with everything that when you're ordering food out or taking food home from a fast food restaurant. I do my very best. Sometimes they forget. So then I put those in a little drawer and I try to use them again at another time. I love using my own reusable cutlery sets. That's what I take with me to work in my lunch kit, right? So again, I can say no thank you to the plastic stuff, which I love. Yeah, reusable bags, of course, are quite popular. They're really nice and easy, right? So they got rid of those plastic bags. So that's kind of been one that you're starting to see around, right, in our businesses that we go to, right? Encouraging folks to bring their own bags, which is nice. But what I'm really looking forward to is when we're able to bring our own reusable cups to our coffee shops, right? Or to a fast food restaurant, right? And fill up your own cup instead of, using those disposable ones. We're almost there. We're almost there. It's pretty close, but I'm very excited to see that more out there as well. The other thing I want to mention is that when I'm giving gifts to my nieces and nephews or to my family members, I definitely try to go for an experience rather than an item, right? All that packaging and toys and batteries that they use and stuff. I was like, do they really need that stuff? They really love experiences, right? They know that Auntie Sarah's going to get them something cool. We're going to go out and do something exciting, spend some time together, make some memories, and those experiences, that really helps. And of course, when I'm out shopping, I do my very best to buy in bulk, or I purchase items that I know have less packaging. Like I really take my time when I'm shopping. So that helps me reduce my waste. So just a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
recommend it.
You
Bunnies for anyone
covered a
who's
lot of you covered a lot of stuff there.
yeah, there you go.
So let me talk a little bit about wet stuff. So you take care of wet stuff, food scraps as well, and as well as the dry stuff like plastic, etc. Let
Yep.
me talk about composting. So you said your food scraps are eaten by bunnies and your horses, and the rest of it that they cannot consume goes to composting, right? And how
Yes.
many compost bin do you have in your backyard?
So
One.
right now I have two because I
Okay.
have one where I'm adding material to, and one I'm using is like my storage bin for like my browns, right? Because I know I run out of browns quite quickly, right? So I hold on to my leaves, a little bit of straw from the horses, right? I'm going to have a container for that kind of ready to go. And I'm also, because I keep adding to my compost bin over here over the winter, even though I know, of course, it's frozen, so it's not really working. And I'm just about at the top. So I know that now that brown material is already going to be there, and I'm going to mix it in as I continually add food scraps here over the winter. So right now I'm doing the 2-bin system, but I
Mhm.
want to get my husband and we have a project for the spring and summer. I want to build a multi-bin for my composting setup,
Mhm.
right? So I can have those different areas, the slats that are removable in the front, so it's easier to get in there. And then one is like storage, and then my two that I'm like adding to, and one that's finishing. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. So that's
So
a
right
future
now you have
project.
2 bins, yeah, but you will be moving to 3 bins, right? Yeah. Right
Yeah,
now
you
you
got
have 2 bins, right? So in two
yeah,
bins, when
three
you
would
will
be great.
be, yeah, when you will be, harvesting, when you will be letting it cook and harvest, at that time you will start adding to your other bin where you are having brown leaves at this time, right? That's how
Yes.
it works. Yeah.
So I think if I were to open up the little bottom slat of my compost bin, because they're the black plastic ones, I think I'm going to have some finished compost there at the bottom, or maybe just about finished. So I'll be able to start using that material and then letting the rest of it, cook and break down as I'm then, moving to my second bin to now start
So
adding. Yes.
yeah, so that's a good idea as well. You harvest some from the bottom and use it in your garden, and then let rest of
Yes.
it cook. Yeah, I just like to harvest the whole thing in one time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also
Well,
have
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure which way I was going to do it because these are actually my first bins on my own outside, right? Because when we were living in the city, I didn't have enough space for them, right? So I was just doing my indoor composting. So now that
because
I
you
have
just moved
space,
to this acreage space, right? Yeah.
yes, yeah. So I'm very excited now to have a bit more space. So I'm really going to utilize that space, and that's why I'm going the big 3 bin. But the 1 bin, yeah, you're right. I definitely would do it in the one batch like you, for sure. If that's all I had room for, the 1 bin would be perfect. Yep.
It is exciting. So my next question is, because you already do bin composting, why you still do regular vermicomposting indoor? What is the need
Oh,
of
oh, okay. Well, I love that. Well, yes, I would say that I do it because I love animals, and I know worms, right? They're kind of in that bug category, right? And they're like along with spiders and stuff, right? They're not everybody's favorite. But I just love creatures of all kinds. I find them very interesting, really fun. I have two horses, three bunnies, three dogs, and one jumping spider. So I have a little crew, right? It's old McDonald's farm, right? Because that's my last name, McDonald. Anyways, we're getting there. We're slowly becoming a farm, and that's kind of my dream, right? To have more animals and just take care of as many as I can. Okay, so when I was a part of the MCR program back in 2019, we were actually given a small container of red wigglers to start composting at home. So it's been ever since my MCR training that I've had these worms, and I've really quite enjoyed them. My mom took them for a while because she really enjoyed having worms in her classroom because she's a retired school teacher, used to do lots of grade 4 work there, right, with the grade 4 students in the Waste in Our World unit. Anyway, so she had an absolute blast. So she's had them, and then they came back, and anyways, so I love them because I can compost all year long. Really easy, really fun. Again, my nieces and nephews adore these worms. They're so fun. It's really neat to kind of watch them and see when they're happy and to feed them different things to find out what they like and what they don't. And, just, of course, the stuff that they don't like, being very careful, right? So you don't want to hurt any of those wormies. So it's just more animals and critters and creatures to take care of, which is, yeah, one of my favorite things is taking care of animals and creatures. So they fit that bill.
That's awesome. Pets are for sure stress booster. So yeah, I love that. I
Mhm.
want to share my worms story as well. I have
Sure.
been composting for last 6 years actually. My first bin I started in 2020, and
Yay.
yeah, but recently I have started a small worm bin as well. And my reason for starting it was because one of my friends was doing it, and I was just kind of envious. Her worms were so good. She just had such a neat and clean worms bin, and when I saw that, I just wanted to start. And she gifted me some worms.
Yay.
I started with that. They're already developing, and I simply love that. Yeah. So I
It is
also
really
have
fun to watch, eh?
worms and
Yeah.
yeah. So I have worms and backyard composting both now.
Yay. Oh, good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah. So let's move on. You already shared different ways of reducing waste, like straws, reusable bags, etc. I want to now talk about your wasteless event that you had at your home. So I know that you recently, in over the holidays, you organized a party with your friends. Tell me more about it. How did that go? How many guests were there? What were their reaction? What was that?
Love to. Okay. So there's a tiny little bit of background before I start on the story of what actually happened. And that is to say that, okay, I work with waste services and have been for almost 9 years. But of course, my family has not. So they've gained a little bit of experience with the whole waste world, some extra knowledge, all of that because of me. So of course, I'm influencing them as an MCR and of course as a waste services City of Edmonton employee. So my family before I worked with waste services was all about the disposable cutlery, whatever's easy, whatever's convenient. Out at the lake, they would make sure that they would have, of course, a whole bunch of cutlery, and we'd always keep refilling it and all that, right? Because it's so easy to just toss in the fire or toss in a garbage bag, right? And it was just easy cleanup, right? Toss it in the fire, yeah, let that paper plate burn. But of course, when I come along and I'm seeing all of this waste, and when we get together as a family or even our group of friends, those disposables, right, were always kind of bothering me a little bit. And then, of course, when I took the MCR training and found out all these different things that you can do and all these waste reduction tips and tricks, I'm thinking, okay, we got to start small. So we're going to work our way in there and just kind of see if I can get some of these behaviors to change. So I just started small. So I started bringing out my own reusable cup, reusable plate, reusable cutlery, and just started doing that, right? So I would wash it there right at the cabin, or I'd wash it there right at the family event or whatever, right? So they would notice that I'm doing something different. And of course, I would have to look a little odd for a while, right? Being a little different than everybody else. But it caught on. Everybody loved it. They're like, okay, I don't have to keep buying these right disposable plates and cups and cutlery, right? Like they didn't have to worry about it, right? And then what they do now is that, okay, so we've cut out all the disposables, which is great. And now they all use reusable, and they just put it into a container and they can bring it home with them at the end of the weekend or after the end of the event. We just all, of course, there's a group of us that can just, stand at the sink and do a little bit of washing or toss it in the dishwasher, depending on what you've purchased. It works great. Okay, so we've slowly started that, right, to get rid of those disposables. I wanted to put it to an extra test this year because, like I mentioned, we've recently moved out to an acreage. So we have a house that can actually host everybody. My family is 14 people in total. So you can put those tables together and have a big family meal, right? Beautiful. Everybody all together in a nice long line. We all love that. So, okay, now I'm inviting everybody over. It's now my gathering. I'm the hostess, right? So I can kind of decide what's going on. I'm thinking, okay, should I push this a little further? Because there was always a few disposables at our family gatherings, but like the main family gatherings, right? You're going to have the nice china plates and stuff. But yeah, okay, we would always have disposable napkins or, a little dessert plates or something, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I want to try my very best to cut down that waste. So I'm thinking, okay, invited everybody over for New Year's Day dinner. And we did our very best to, of course, cut down on our waste. So reusable plates all around, that's easy. Reusable cutlery, that's easy. Great. Okay. We ordered Chinese food. And I specified, okay, we don't need any of those soy sauces. We don't need any of those fortune cookies or whatever, right? Because they always come with little wrappers. I'm thinking, yeah, no, we don't need that. We're going to do everything on our own. And even the containers, right? I made sure I ordered from a restaurant that has those plastic containers that you can wash and reuse, because that's how I sent home all the leftovers, right? Everyone got to divvy up all the leftovers and take those containers home. So didn't even have that waste. Now, we're almost perfect, right? Because we had our fabric napkins, and there was not a whole lot of people noticing what was going on. I think they were noticing that there wasn't a garbage nearby. There was our food scraps pail, right, to take any of the, stuff that the kids didn't want to eat, or a little bone or whatever, the stuff that you have left over. But we didn't necessarily have the garbage can handy, right? It was off in another room because we didn't need it. Now, the restaurant did throw in a couple of those little soy sauce packets, a couple of those cute little fortune cookies with the little wrapper. Okay, a couple pieces of garbage, that's not bad. But everybody loved it. They didn't even really notice the difference. Had a little bit extra laundry, right? But I'm doing the tablecloths anyway, so tossing in napkins, super easy. And I was so proud. It went over so well. They can't wait to come back and do it again. I think I have to do one in the summer and then the winter as well, right? But it was just awesome. I was really, really proud of my family because again, right? Just because it's what you always do doesn't mean it's something you can't change. We started small, kind of worked our way up, but I'm very proud of that event. And I think it went well. It looked beautiful. We had a lot of fun, and it was just a tiny little bit of extra work and then so much less waste. So I was really proud. Thanks for asking.
So you almost removed everything like plates, cutlery, cups,
Oh,
right?
I was so close.
Yeah. So what
I'm
do
gonna
you?
work my way up to actually cooking something, because then we don't have to worry about any of the takeout stuff. But
Yeah.
no, I wanted to work on just kind of one thing at
So
a
what did
time.
you do for the takeout? It came in the plastic container, right?
Yes, it did. Yeah. So I went to, of course, the restaurant, of course, that we've been going to like almost every New Year's Day, like for as long as I can remember. We have a really good rapport with this restaurant. And I've been very proud of them for taking the steps, right? They don't do the tin foil with the cardboard kind of top, right? It's those plastic container, nice sturdy plastic with the clear lids. And that's how
Mm-hmm.
they stack their food and present their food. So yeah, we even had a couple of those left over that I just washed, and then everyone
That can be
filled up their
reused.
leftovers,
Yeah.
and there you go, reuse. Exactly. Oh, I was so proud. Yeah.
Yeah. So your friends helped you in the washing dishes or something. How did it go at the end? Did they help you, or did you do that next morning,
Oh
washing the
yeah.
dishes?
So all we did is that I didn't want anyone to have to worry about the dishes, because all of our dishes and cutlery, everything was perfect for the dishwasher. So all we did, yeah, we just of course our little stack of dishes that we created, yeah, just all got brought up to the dishwasher, and just one load of dishes, and boom boom, we're done. It was great. It was so good.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I would hand wash them if I needed to, right? But no, in this case it was fine. It
Yeah,
was
you
just
don't
one
need
load.
to, of
It was
course.
good.
Yeah, yeah. And you are already looking forward to the next one.
Oh
Uh,
yes. Yeah. And they said it was fine. I asked everybody afterwards, I was like, okay, how did it go? Do you want us to change anything? Was it a little weird? Did you notice that I had everything reusable? And they're like, oh yeah, I guess you did. Right? The napkins, they just thought they were fancy. So I thought that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have heard a lot of other stories as well, and I myself do it at home all the time. And I
Yes.
don't have big parties like 40, 50 people, but with 15, 20, it's manageable. But I think
Yes.
if I have a bigger party, I think I will be able to manage because I do have that much dishes, and maybe instead of one load, it can have two or three loads at the end, which
Well,
is
yeah, you're
fine.
right. Spread it
Right?
up. Yep.
Yeah.
Yay. Oh, well, good for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you think about it, you do it, right? Some people just don't like. Sometimes we just don't know it because a couple of years back, I also didn't know that these disposable plates are a problem, right? I always had a lot of at stock so that I can use it whenever people come to my place. But now I know that this is a problem. So even though I do have some leftover from 6 years back, I don't use it. I don't give it to anyone. This is kind of a reminder for me that 6 years back, I started not using them. So it's
Yeah.
still
I mean, good for you. Save money too, right? You don't have to buy all that disposable stuff. And there's
yeah.
some people, of course, that think the paper plates are recyclable, and of course they're not, right? They've been used with wood, their food being on there, right? So they're going to be all messy. And yeah, it's not a real like paper, right? It's like more like a
Yeah.
waxy paper. Yes, they're not recyclable or anything. So, anyways, I'm so glad.
We talked about a lot of stuff. Anything special you want to talk? Uh, Anything that you think you have not shared but you want to share?
Oh, good question. So I would probably say that if people are looking for waste reduction inspiration, like I don't expect everyone to hear what we've been talking about here tonight and to immediately jump full bore, right? Like right into something, right? I would encourage anyone who's interested in reducing their waste to just start small. Do something small and then work your way up to something else, right? So as small could be, yeah, saying no thank you to that plastic cutlery, right? That comes with your meal when you order it, right? And have your own, right? Bring your own reusable, knife, fork, spoon, even straws. You know what I mean? You can start small and then work your way up to something else. We're not expecting people to be perfect, right? Because humans, of course, we're imperfect by nature. That's just us, right? So just start small. Work your way up to the things where you feel you're creating a lot of waste, right? So just have a look around, see what's going to work great, but we're also not expecting, yeah, perfection, right? Because even small actions can have a big impact, right, on the amount of waste, right? If you reduce one one plastic fork from going into the landfill, right? That is still a difference. And what we're looking for is a lot of people doing waste reduction imperfectly rather than just a couple people doing it perfectly, like that's going to be a big difference. And then just encourage other folks to give it a try too. Like if you're finding that you're noticing a certain coworker or a certain family member or friend that has a lot of waste, maybe with one particular area, just having a little conversation, giving them something else to aspire to, right? Just by bringing it into their worlds, right? Just like I did by bringing my reusable dishes with me, right? People saw it and they're thinking, oh yeah, okay, it doesn't always have to be this way. Just by bringing it into their worlds, making them aware of it, right? Is what I'd encourage people to do. But yeah, don't expect perfection. Just start small. Use the tools that are available. If you ever have any questions about what goes where, the city has the WasteWise app, which is great. Donate to the Reuse Center. It's a lovely place that I love going to, right? So you can pick up items for free, but you can also give your items that you don't need anymore a second life, right? Do those kinds of things, right? Start composting, right? Find a friend with worms and borrow some worms, or get your own worm farm started, right? Your own worm composting bin started. Host your own wasteless gathering, right? If you're ready to give that a try. Buy secondhand, your buy and sell groups, right? Repair what you have, take care of what you have, and just these little things. Find what works best for you in your world, and then just build off of there, because the world will appreciate any effort that you put in. So that's what I would say.
So that are some of the good messages to end with. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your journey with us. So your bunnies, horses, your composting, Red Wiggler story, and your wasteless event. Everyone, it's not about being perfect, as Sarah said. It's not about being perfect. It's just start small. And first of all, we just need to understand the importance of reducing waste. And even if it is not visible, it is there. And we just need to take our part, right? Thank you for watching, and we will come back with another topic. Thank you.